Gaius Julius Caesar Tsar or Tsar in the Slavic languages. The last Tsar in nominal power was Simeon II of Bulgaria, whose reign ended in 1946, but is still alive in 2023. This means that for approximately 2,000 years, there was at least one head of state bearing his name. As a term for the highest ruler, the word Caesar constitutes one of the earliest, best attested and most widespread Latin loanwords in the Germanic languages, being found in the text corpora of Old High German, Caesar, Old Saxon, Xer, Old English, Seer, Old Norse, Caesari, Old Dutch, Kaiser, and, through Greek, Gothic, Caesar. Some ancient sources refer to the possibility of the tyrannicide, Marcus Junius Brutus, being one of Julius Caesar's illegitimate children. Caesar, at the time Brutus was born, was 15. Most ancient historians were skeptical of this and, on the whole, scholars have rejected the possibility that Brutus was the love child of Servilia and Caesar on the grounds of chronology. Grandchild from Julia and Pompey, dead at several days, unnamed Roman society viewed the passive role during sexual activity, regardless of gender, to be a sign of submission or inferiority. Indeed, Suetonius says that in Caesar's Gallic triumph, his soldiers sang that Caesar may have conquered the Gauls, but Nicomedes conquered Caesar. According to Cicero, Bibulus, Gaius Memmius, and others, mainly Caesar's enemies, he had an affair with Nicomedes IV of Bithynia early in his career. The stories were repeated, referring to Caesar as the Queen of Bithynia, by some Roman politicians as a way to humiliate him. Caesar himself denied the accusations repeatedly throughout his lifetime, and according to Cassius Dio, even under oath on one occasion. This form of slander was popular during this time in the Roman Republic to demean and discredit political opponents. Catullus wrote a poem suggesting that Caesar and his engineer Mamurra were lovers, but later apologized. Mark Antony charged that Octavian had earned his adoption by Caesar through sexual favors. Suetonius described Antony's accusation of an affair with Octavian as political slander. Octavian eventually became the first Roman emperor as Augustus. During his lifetime, Caesar was regarded as one of the best orators and prose authors in Latin. Even Cicero spoke highly of Caesar's rhetoric and style. Only Caesar's war commentaries have survived. A few sentences from other works are quoted by other authors. Among his lost works are his funeral oration for his paternal aunt Julia and his Anti-Cato, a document attacking Cato in response to Cicero's eulogy. Poems by Julius Caesar are also mentioned in ancient sources. Other works historically have been attributed to Caesar, but their authorship is in doubt. These narratives were written and published annually during or just after the actual campaigns, as a sort of dispatches from the front. They were important in shaping Caesar's public image and enhancing his reputation when he was away from Rome for long periods. They may have been presented as public readings. As a model of clear and direct Latin style, the Gallic Wars traditionally has been studied by first- or second-year Latin students. The texts written by Caesar, an autobiography of the most important events of his public life, are the most complete primary source for the reconstruction of his biography. However, Caesar wrote those texts with his political career in mind. Julius Caesar is also considered one of the first historical figures to fold his message scrolls into a concertina form, which made them easier to read. The Roman Emperor Augustus began a cult of personality of Caesar, which described Augustus as Caesar's political heir. The modern historiography is influenced by this tradition. Many rulers in history became interested in the historiography of Caesar. Napoleon III wrote the scholarly work Histoire de Jules Caesar, which was not finished. The second volume listed previous rulers interested in the topic. Charles VIII ordered a monk to prepare a translation of the Gallic Wars in 1480. Charles V ordered a topographic study in France to place the Gallic Wars in context, which created 40 high-quality maps of the conflict. The contemporary Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent catalogued the surviving editions of the commentaries and translated them to Turkish language. Henry IV and Louis XIII of France translated the first two commentaries and the last two respectively. Louis XIV retranslated the first one. Afterwards, the remains of Caesar's altar are a pilgrimage site for visitors from across Italy and the world. Flowers and other items are left there daily, and special commemorations take place on March 15th to commemorate Caesar's death. Julius Caesar is seen as the main example of Caesarism, a form of political rule led by a charismatic strongman whose rule is based upon a cult of personality, whose rationale is the need to rule by force, establishing a violent social order, and being a regime involving prominence of the military in the government. Other people in history, such as the French Napoleon Bonaparte and the Italian Benito Mussolini, have defined themselves as Caesarists. Bonaparte did not focus only on Caesar's military career, but also on his relation with the masses. A predecessor to populism, the word is also used in a pejorative manner by critics of this type of political rule.